You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building. M-E-T-H-O-D, man.
Morning, everybody. This is DJ Envy in the building. We got a special guest this morning. Method Man. What's up, yo?
Good morning.
Meth, what's up, my brother?
You heard the show.
I was just singing. I started singing.
Your mama don't wear no
your mama
drugs.
don't wear no drugs.
You know how old that.
She took them off.
If you from my era, you know where that song come from. That's like playing the dozens.
Yeah.
But we used to sing them.
Yeah, then our boy out goes, yo, what made you just start singing that? I'm like, Method Man standing right there, duh.
Singing
You
it.
just walked up here, was walking around. We were like,
Yeah, he was walking. I was like, who the hell's that with the
They
head
know
on?
me in this building. I think I got a picture on the wall in there somewhere. I'm not sure. Maybe.
You've never gotten Hollywood, Meth, ever. Like, no matter what you was doing, acting, music, superstar, you never was Hollywood.
Yeah, I still live in Staten Island, too. So, yeah, I mean, I stay grounded because, you know, I'm still around the people that I grew up around. So, yeah.
still same manager, same everything.
Yeah.
Red Man still tight.
Same road dog, 7th Street, what's good? Nutter, what's up?
Ellis.
Yeah, James. Oh, yeah. Ellis don't come on the road no more. Ellis has elevated himself.
And for people that don't know, Method Man is the reason why all shows now have a dump button and have an actual delay.
What you mean, why?
You keep saying that. I
You
don't think
are
it
the
was me,
reason
man.
why.
Come on, y'all had
You
some
mean
real
with Howard,
real
with Howard
talent.
Stern and Star and Buck
he
and Miss
was-
Jones? Meth is the reason?
Yes, he let a couple of curses go live on air. It was like a $250,000 fine, and after that, from now on, there has been a dump button.
I don't
and a
believe
delay.
that.
I swear.
Howard Stern been around way longer than Method Man. And he was a filthy individual.
All the effery that goes on up here, you saying that? Nah, man, no way.
Look, see how he censored himself? I don't
Yeah,
believe
see?
that. He didn't even say that. Just
see?
he said effery.
Yeah.
But you're here promoting The Deuce,
Yes, sir.
a new show on HBO. It's interesting because I read an LA Times article about you, and it says that you are getting serious about acting now.
You've been
He was
serious.
That's what I'm
always
saying. I don't
serious
remember a
about
time when you weren't.
No, see, I have to understand. It's hard to do music and try and do movies or television at the same time because you can't. I mean, too many. How do they say, a jack of all trades, master of none?
True.
So, I mean, you have to focus on whatever craft it is that you're trying to excel at that time. So I wasn't actually taking acting serious. I still had a rap career I had to maintain. You know, I had Wu-Tang obligations, Redman obligations, as well as solo obligations. So once I got all of that out of my blood and I felt like, you know, I was doing hip-hop because I wanted to, not because I have to, that's when I said, all right, let's do this acting thing. Let's get our feet
That's
wet.
interesting because you
Yeah.
do have a Wu-Tang album coming out.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Allah Math. I think that's coming out the 15th, so that should be good.
That the records from that album sound real different. Like they sound like a rejuvenated Wu-Tang Clan. Like people say it's like phenomenal. Like
You know what? I think Math had those joints, well, not the beats, but, you know, some of those verses from cats around for a while, and he always kept that flavor. He's my DJ, too, by the way. He's been on the road with me for, like, ever. He's
He
part of that
created the
crew.
Wu logo.
Yeah, he did. He created the Wu-Tang logo. We say that at every show. I take that for granted sometimes, too. You know, seeing people walk around with tattoos and, you know, shirts with something that he invented, basically. But, yeah, that album, he put a lot of work into that. It's been years in the making, and hopefully, you know, it'll reestablish our griminess. Take away, not trying to take anything away from A Better Tomorrow. That was, you know, whatever vision that was. RZA wanted to go into the light, so be it. He was in the light. But, you know, this, I think, hopefully this will bring back that grimy feel that people know Wu-Tang for.
yeah, I heard two records with people saying it's another record I heard that Redman's on.
Doc all over. Doc is Wu-Tang. You know, he all over the place with it. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you know, he work. He never stops. I'm worried about the dude sometimes. You know, he needs to get some rest sometimes.
Yeah, he hosting that VH1 show now too. About the
Yeah.
scary houses,
Scary-
haunted
yeah,
houses,
scary
something like
movie,
that.
yeah.
But see, me, like, especially with the whole Hollywood thing, Doc wants to be behind the camera more. And I've always felt like he was a visionary. If you listen to his albums, from skits to songs and concepts and things like that,
Absolutely.
I really believe in Redman, that Redman could pull this off as a director.
He got a good horror movie in him somewhere.
Or a comedy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely
whatever,
couple
really.
comedies.
Because he's so visual. So, you know, I don't put anything past that dude.
So
Is it hard for you?
Mathematics produced the whole album?
Yeah, he produced the whole thing. You know, RZA came in as exec, you know, because RZA has, like, this whole machine behind him now. So why wouldn't Math, you know, incorporate all the mechanisms that RZA has at his disposal to make this album go further than what he could have did by himself?
I read the Once Upon a Time in Shaolin book, That's how powerful the Wu-Tang logo is, by the way. Because I only read that book because the logo was on it. It's not a great book, but like the whole thing about y'all recorded the album and ended up selling it to Martin Shkreli, and you was very vocal against it.
Yeah, I didn't have, because this was what happens when the lines of communication are broken. All right, I didn't know anything about it. I just know that when I was approached about doing a few songs for a project, and I was paid for them, mind you, by Silver Rings. I did the songs not knowing exactly what he was going to do with them. Most of the time, dudes do that. You get a fee, you throw the songs out there. You don't know what they're going to do with them. Next thing you know, you're on a song with Tupac, Biggie, and they ain't even alive anymore, and all this extra stuff. Anyway, he put this album together, and by the time I found out anything about an auction or a piece of art or not letting the fans listen to it, I got it, and it's kind of twisted the way the information was given to me. And I reacted to that information being that I'm Wu-Tang. But I think my reaction was more out of not knowing and not being in the loop more than the album actually being sold the way it was.
You shouldn't be finding out with everybody else.
Yeah.
Did you hear the album? Did you hear the whole album?
No, I haven't heard it yet.
Damn.
Really?
I only know the songs that I'm on. I could play them if y'all want. I'll play them right now.
Martin had them up on eBay. He was trying to resell them.
Yeah, but you know what? I heard that's not going too well. I don't wish any bad on anybody, especially jail, because jail is never a place to be for anyone. There's some dudes that need to be there, though. They deserve to be there. They should be in there. But, under the circumstances that he's in, hopefully, somebody will pick the album up, buy it, and you guys will be able to hear it. I ain't really pressed, honestly.
All right.
I hated the whole shenanigans and that, so I ain't even pressed to even hear anything.
Right. Now let's talk about the Deuce. Because that's what we're here for.
What it do?
I was gonna ask before we do that. When you go on auditions, is it difficult for you being Method Man? Because people look at you as that.
It's hard. You walk in the room and that's what they see. It's hard to shed those layers of Method Man even when you actually get the job and you're in front of the camera. People still see Method Man, but hopefully, they'll see my dedication to the art. They'll see that I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone in some of these roles, and I'm ready to play.
But also, I feel like as Method Man, it also helps as far as marketing, because when it comes to casting somebody in a role, they're also like, well, we can also say Method Man's in the movie or Method Man's on the show.
I mean, that would have held a little bit more weight years ago.
I think you played Mac Wild's dad. That's
Yeah, that was dope though. But that's easy, especially being a father. So and Mac is just
from Staten Island.
What can I say? The boy is finesse at his finest. He's a great kid. Well, man now, but I known him as a kid. He's doing his thing, and I applaud him. Another W for Staten Island. Even Tariq.
Yeah.
From,
Power.
Power, yeah.
It's interesting though, because I run across kids all the time that have no idea you were ever a rapper.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people run up on me because of how high. They definitely run up on me because of how high, but don't get it twisted. Run up on me on the wrong day, boy, you're gonna get the fire. Dial on it. Straight dial on it.
Now, in the Deuce, you're a pimp.
Yeah.
Now, did you have to practice for this role or prepare for this role?
Yeah. Just
Did you
like
really?
you do any role. Yeah. You got to have that
So
kind
how did
of
you prepare?
dedication. I had to watch I watched some Pimp documentaries. I ain't gonna lie.
The Mac. You watch the Mac?
Actually, a Pimp called Snooki.
A pimp called
Yeah, never
Snooki.
Uh,
heard of that one.
And Son has some nice colloquialisms. Is that a good word?
That's a good word.
Okay, that's a good word.
You gotta explain that for me, bro.
Something like he says something like I sell pussy. Everything I own smell like pussy. That's dope to me right there. You ain't gotta say
We just call
nothing
those bars now. We call them bars with that.
You ain't even gotta say nothing else based off that. But I didn't want to do a caricature of a pimp, especially in the audition, because I would have blew it. Seeing how, especially knowing someone like Don Bishop Magic Juan and how he move and everything, you don't want to put it in a bad light. Even though, I mean, that's ludicrous in itself to even say something like that, putting pimping in a bad light. But for the guys that live that lifestyle, you want some kind of authenticity that they can look at it and be like, yeah, I'm gonna ride with that one. I'm gonna co-sign that.
It's interesting you say that, because you are like a nice pimp on the Deuce. I was watching it. Right?
Nice pimp?
He is. He's like a nice.
He's a caring pimp.
He is. But
That's part of the hook, though.
even before I saw the show, because when I was reading about it, that it was coming out, I think people have this idea in their head, like, oh my God, this is going to be exploiting women. You have pimps, you have prostitutes. Because the show is about how, it's in New York, and the pimps and the prostitutes and how that turned into the porn industry, right?
Right.
But then you see it and you understand more. Like there's one scene that I thought was really good where she was getting in the car with somebody who she thought was a cop. She thought she was under arrest.
Right.
And her pimp actually comes and saves her, and anything could have happened to her if her pimp wasn't there because he understood the game of what was going on.
School during the moment, absolutely. But that's all part of it right there. I mean, the best thing a pimp could have is a chick with low self-esteem and no ambition. Well, she got to have some ambition or else you can't use her. Now, as far as the deuce goes, I mean, yes, on the outer layer, it's pimps, hoes, porn industry. But when you start peeling those layers apart and start getting into characters, that's why I take my hat off to Maggie Gyllenhaal, because she's like anchoring this show right now. And if she doesn't get an Emmy nod, the Emmys is fake news. Period.
Yeah, she's great. She actually doesn't have a pimp on the show.
All men got a little pimping in them, though. Like, even if you're not an official pimp, I guess
Well, we all aspire to have some type, you're right, some type of pimp bones in us. You are absolutely right, especially when approaching women. Every guy wants to be seen as some kind of ladies' man, whereas on the opposite spectrum, the women want to be seen as hard to get and non-approachable at times.
Is this based on a true story? Because I remember 42nd Street used to be.
Yeah, the 70s and 80s in New York.
The 80s in New
Yeah,
York.
it's based on, it is a true story about how that whole industry turned into the porn industry, and women kind of led the way with that.
Yeah, and those twins, the twins that James Franco character plays. I mean, James Franco character. Yeah, just delete that or whatever. Edit that. But the twins that James Franco portrays on the show, they're two actual guys that got into the porn industry. Don't ask me how. I didn't look up the history. I didn't want to know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
You think these period pieces are necessary? Or why do you think they're necessary?
Well, for one, you know, in the society we live in now, here we go, society we live in now, especially in the 2000s, since 2000 started, and, you know, we've got all this information at our fingertips. It's nice for the youngins to be able to look back and see where their grandparents came from or where their parents came from, and how, you know, we always tell them, this was a struggle, and we had to do this, that, and the third, and they can't picture it because they ain't lived that struggle. I mean, whatever. But this gives them some type of light and perspective on partly of what it was back then, because all those days weren't bad ones. I ain't gonna even lie. You know, I grew up in some very broke neighborhoods, very poor. But me as a child being in these environments, I knew we were poor, but we didn't feel poor because everybody around us was in the same situation. There was always love in those communities. That's what people fail to understand. You know, yes, we are living in deplorable conditions at times. And yes, sometimes a parent may be on drugs or a father incarcerated, but when that family unit is strong and that village comes in to help raise those kids, that shit is unstoppable.
And that's the crazy part about social media, because I know some of these kids are still living in those conditions, but you don't ever see that reflected via Instagram or Snapchat.
Nah, never.
Nothing.
Everybody's hood rich. Yeah. That's for sure. Very rarely.
That's why I liked when Redman did Cribs. And he had them in his house, and it was all, you know, everybody tries to be like.
That was one of his houses.
Magnificent.
Though.
He
but
probably
it was
owned
funny.
a complex.
Yeah.
But it was all, everybody else tries to be all glamorous on Cribs, and then Redman brings him in his house.
Well, that's always been Doc. That's why people love Doc. Doc is the anti to the pro. You know what I'm saying? It's, if you going left, Doc gonna go right. It's just who he is.
But you always been that way too, especially with the industry. I think that's why y'all meshed.
Well, not as much, because I if I agree with somebody wholeheartedly, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna go opposite because I think it's the cool thing to do. Nah, that's never been me. But yeah. I mean, that's why we click so well, because we mesh on a lot of different levels. You know, especially at shows. If you haven't seen a Redman and Method Man show, make it on your bucket list. Come see us. We throw it down.
Even back in the day, you used to rebel against the whole sex symbol status.
Well, you know what? That was because I didn't see any. All I seen was a bottom to that. You know, and I mean. Not taking anything away from Christopher Williams, you know, the brother probably. No, I'm just saying though. I'm just saying though, and I seen the pictures and y'all clowned him up here.
The other day too.
Yeah, y'all clowned him up here.
No, he clowned him, said light skin, he's bad and all that.
You aging pretty good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll take it.
And, you know, that whole sex symbol thing, it's like that clock is ticking on, you know, when you're going to just start looking more effed up every day, man. It's just bad. I didn't want to be in that realm. I just wanted to be judged off of my skill. That's the bottom line.
No, that's real. Because I say that with women all the time, too. All these women that's getting paid off their looks and their bodies, like, you're going to age. It's not going to stay that way.
Right. Well, I mean, some women are aging gracefully There's a few of them
True.
out there. They're checking their diets and they're in the gym taking care of their bodies and I mean,
You look at people like Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
Everybody
J-Lo,
always brings up
Halle.
Angela.
Yeah,
She looks
That's
incredible.
good. That's good because I think that makes her go even harder in the gym, and I need some of that. I need some of that.
Now, you remember the times when Times Square was real messed up because that's the period of this, you know, of the Deuce.
Yeah, I remember one time, and I always got a story, but I remember one time I used to work at the Statue of Liberty. Shout out to the Statue of Liberty, Brad Hill. What's good?
You used to work at the Statue of Liberty doing the tours?
What? Doing what tours?
You used to clean up, right?
I was in concessions.
Selling food, okay.
Yeah. But once you get out of the food part, you get into the outside cleanup and you're sweeping up stuff. I made it all the way to garbage, son. That's when you get to drive the truck around the island. You was Big Cheese. You know what I'm saying? That's the deal right there. Anyway, I'm leaving work, and every time after work, on a payday, if a new movie came out, I forgot what movie I wanted to go see, but I went to the Deuce to go see this movie.
Right.
And right there on the corner of Broadway and 42nd Street, remember there was a theater right there. Mm-hmm. I think it's WWE now, whatever. And the line was pretty long, so I'm on the back of the line waiting. I got my book bag on. I'm on the back of the line waiting. And something feels funny on my book bag and shit, right? So I look back and I see this little short black, whatever, it just didn't look right.
Right.
So I'm standing there again. And I feel something else, and I look back again, and he's just standing there. So I just left the line, and I looked at my bag, and it was halfway open. Nigga was trying to rob me, G.
Wow.
Trying to rob me, man. You know what I mean?
Standing
For my
right
little
behind
check,
you.
I only had like $68, but it was mine. You know
back
what
then,
I
You know
mean?
you had money in your bag?
No, he was just going in my bag. You got to be an idiot. Like, this is why New York is so ill, and like you learn so much by experience. You got to be an idiot to be standing on a line outside with your book bag on your back exposed, where somebody could just come behind you, open that chick, take your stuff, and chew. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
But that's
these
not
are
normal,
valuable
though.
lessons.
That's
But
New
that was
York.
42nd Street.
It's
That was
normal for New
42nd.
York.
You know
That ain't
what?
normal.
42nd Street back then.
Yeah. Let's say that.
You seen
yeah.
everything on 42nd Street. There was prostitution on 42nd Street. There was, you didn't go. My mom would, you wanted to go, all the kids and teens wanted to go, but your moms and pops did not want you to go on 42nd
So
Street.
Giuliani did a good job cleaning it up, right?
Well, I don't think Julie. Well, yeah.
He cleaned that up.
Yeah.
It used to be scary to be over there.
Yeah,
It used
nothing
to
like
be a little
now.
scary.
It was not a tourist spot.
But as far as crime and stuff like that in New York, and Giuliani took a lot of credit for that. I think a lot of that had to do with the Million Man March and us being consciously aware of what we were doing to each other and stuff. And everybody took a chill and sat back and thought about things for a minute, you know?
Salute to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Always.
Now, I want to ask the three of you a question after watching The Deuce. There's one scene where a kid loses his virginity to a prostitute. Right. How common is something like that?
It's funny you brought that up. You know when I lost my virginity?
To
I
a
tell the story all the time.
To a stripper.
No, I didn't lose it to a stripper. I lost my virginity to a young lady, but I used to go to her house every day after school, so it was around like 3 o'clock, 3:30, and Method Man Bring the Pain video used to always be on.
And you was bringing the pain.
Word up, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Nice.
Rap City used to be on, and that's the first time I ever seen Bring the Pain video. I was.
Well, that's a nice romantic song to lose your
That's a
virginity
romantic
to.
song.
Oh, me and my wife, our wedding song was All I Need, the remix.
Nice.
That's a fact. That's that first song we danced to. All I Need
Gabrielle
remix.
Union and Dwayne Wade played it at their wedding too. I don't know if it was their dance song, but she told me they played it there.
That's the
good.
classic
Yeah, that's
number
classic.
one hip hop R&B love
Absolutely.
song
That's
ever.
dope. But back to the Deuce. Yeah, I think a lot of people had their first experience with professionals. You know, a lot of people. Yeah. Kind of like a rite of passage. I don't think they have to do that now. Everybody just so fast living now.
You just got to send a
Everybody
DM.
effing everybody.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like it, to be honest with you. I did that with a stripper one time, and like I walked into the champagne room.
in the strip.
You came in the stripper.
I came in the
Wow.
champagne
Wow.
room in the middle of the dance. So I gave her $20. So I was halfway through the song, and she started topping me off, but she had to stop when the song was over. And I was like, why you stop? And she was like, you got to give me some more money.
Wow, that's the hook
And
right
I was like,
there.
nah.
That's kind of what happened on The Deuce.
Yeah.
Because it was his first time.
She probably did it on purpose. You never know. And David Simon and George, are good for their nuances like that. Those little nuances that you got to pick up on for yourself.
Now, have you ever been with a prostitute?
No.
He's a sex symbol. He never had to.
No.
You sold crack, though, right?
Yeah.
So you slept with a fiend for money. You let a fiend give you a head or something.
Yeah, I
for
did
some-
that.
Yeah, same difference.
Hey, yo, it's funny because fuck that. No, I'm really not doing it.
He's in Hollywood now, guys. Stop it.
But I got a crack story.
Tell us a story.
Tell us a crack story.
All right, crack story. Check it out. Okay, so Around my way, it was a little area where we used to hustle at, and cars would come through. Everybody used to run up to the cars, and if you got 15 people hustling in the same spot, first one there get the sale. Mm-hmm. And you got to literally put your head in the window, get the sale. So I'm out there by myself this night. I know this fiend. He pulls up. How many you want? I put my head inside, got my hand like this. What's good? How many you want? All of them. Smacks my hand up. Whoa. Takes off in the car.
Wow.
With all my
all your stuff.
Oh my gosh.
All my stuff.
It just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. But it was a lesson learned. That would never happen again.
Well, you don't have to sell crack anymore, but
Yeah.
But if you did,
it's funny because we were still, even when we did the Source pitches where we got the Columbia rain suits on, we still selling crack.
Really?
I was making sales in between. That's Maddie.
That's interesting because you had the first single out of everybody.
Well, you know what? That's funny because that song been done, man. That's way back in those ice cream days. I actually saw RZA make that beat, the Method Man beat, and I wrote that actually, the Jeep ass nigga. Did I? No, I wrote Bring the Pain to Jeep ass nigga.
Oh, so you used to write the other records and then spit it and then. Wow.
And what you would do is you would have the dual tape player and you would loop it with the dual tape player.
Wow.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I learned that from Deck.
So at what point did y'all really start making money? Like,
let me see. Method Man video was on. I was eating rice with ketchup on it, right? Oh, and this shit. Yeah. I was eating rice with ketchup on it. I say, it was a minute.
Jeez.
even after the Cal album?
Well, the Cal album came out. It was still a little tough. I was still learning.
After all the albums, the tours, and all that?
I was getting solo money then, so I don't know what the rest of the dudes was doing.
Right.
I was getting solo money, and it was like I was getting $2,500 a show, $2,500 a show, solo. This before All I Need came out. When All I Need came out, I was getting all these freaking shows back to back to back to back to back to back, and I told Mook, raise the effing price, man, because I'm getting too many shows. If I'm getting that many shows, it's because they know I'm bargain basement right now. Raise the effing price. So it's all a learning experience over time.
For everybody.
So we might have cheated ourselves out of some money occasionally here and there from lack of knowledge of the business. But when we started getting money, there was some madness going on. Nail salons, woo hair shops, mansions, and crap like that. Everybody had cars. It was crazy.
You think being broke makes you make better music?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. You have more time to focus on more things because if you broke, you ain't got no job.
And you got to find other things to rap about. Like this era is a lot of it is all money, material stuff.
I mean, it's always been like that, and that's always been a great element to have in hip hop. The same way it is in boxing. You can't have everybody just be a brawler and go up there and give whack interviews. You got to have a Floyd Mayweather to spice things up. You know what I'm saying? We can't have a Wu-Tang without a Biggie or a Jay-Z showing that luxurious life, because that's what we all aspire to, and I love seeing brothers like that. Oh, I'm low again? That was the problem with the last interview. They said I was too low.
You probably too far.
Yeah, we
from
raised
the
you up
mic.
now.
You do remember back when a lot of the underground artists didn't like the Biggies though, or the Jay-Z's. I remember J. Rue, the Damager, Boot Camp Click. They weren't feeling.
And that was part of that fashionable trend again. Now, Boot Camp, on the other hand, they had their own reasons, whatever that was. I don't know. I don't get into all that because I was cool with both sides. But that's just going against the norm. It's like saying, knowing that Jay been putting it down for years, if you're sitting in a room full of people and, they're like, who the best, and you say Jay-Z, it's such an obvious answer that everybody going to hate on it. It's just cool to go against. And I get it, but I'm not for it. I don't mind applauding excellence at all.
What do you think of the music now? Some of the young kids that come out now.
I think they're doing their thing. Let them have what they're doing. We had fun when we did it. Let them have fun. I mean, it's different. Yeah, and as it goes on and on, I'm learning more and more about where they're at with it. You know?
said different meaning what?
Meaning they're making, like, Wu-Tang, for instance, not taking nothing away from my catalog, but the song, could be about anything, and we'll name it something like Daiquiris on a Snowfall. It has nothing to do with that. These kids are making these, these sound like songs, man, and auto-tune or not, they're singing and they're actually sitting down writing and creating songs. And the youth are reacting to it. Who are we to say that movement ain't the movement right now? We've had our time.
What do you think about writing your own music? Because you guys have always written all your own lyrics.
You had people in our era that didn't write their own lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Dre, I don't think Dre wrote any.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you
whatsoever.
guys, as far as Wu-Tang,
guys that were considered MCs. We never looked at Dre as an MC.
Oh man,
Or
is this the Drake thing?
Nah, I
no,
don't
it's
think
not
so.
just about him.
Because I like
general.
Drake.
I'm just talking about you. Like, what do you think about? Can you be considered a great lyricist if you don't write your own lyrics?
No. I mean, that's been answered already a million times. No, there's no way. How can you be a great lyricist if you're not writing it? It's the person behind you that's writing it. They must be great.
Do you look at artists different if you're like, okay, they didn't write that?
No.
As a hip hop artist.
No. I like good music. You know what I'm saying? I rock to a lot of Beyonce stuff. And
But I mean,
she
hip-hop.
doesn't write all of it.
They always say hip hop is different, though.
I get it. Because you're supposed to write from your own life experience. But since hip hop has come to the forefront, and you can't look at the charts now without seeing a hip hop record on there, a rap record on there. It's par for the course. It's called elevating. It's called growth. So if this is what it is, let it be that. I mean, we could always keep our pure whatever it is. Because, I mean, jazz was big at a time. And Miles Davis, nobody could tell him he wasn't the baddest man on the planet, even when as many people weren't listening to jazz anymore. But there was always that crowd that would show up for those venues. Me and Redman have that now. I like to equate it to that because when we go on the road, it's a lot of kids there, but a lot of older people from our era are there also. And it's great to transcend between each generation. And because when you do that, it's like you're giving them another look at what hip-hop was, and they're giving them a look at what hip-hop could be, which is great.
Is it ever intimidating for other artists that have to be on shows with you and Redman? Because you guys have a lot of energy without any special effects or anything. So imagine, you see a lot of hip-hop artists that go out there, they just kind of walk back and forth.
They have some effects. I've seen them fly across the stage.
That was different, though. We had to keep up with those dudes. They were, you know what I'm saying?
They was definitely flying through the air.
But, yeah. And what was the question?
I said, was it intimidating for other artists?
You know what? I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't be intimidated, especially if the show that I've been doing is a good show and it's going across with the crowd. Only people that would be intimidated by that is people that already put on bad shows. There's some headliners out there that they don't look like they do. Well, their videos aren't that interesting, so imagine what their shows are going to look like, And I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but in the same sense, taking everything away from everybody.
Most artists don't want to open up, but y'all opened up that tour, and y'all didn't have a problem opening up that tour. Most people are, I don't want to open up. I'm not opening up the show, but you guys did it and had no problem doing it.
Seen them checks?
I didn't see it.
Yo, it was nice we went on where the lights were still on. DJ Clue was still up there. People were still trying to get to their seats type of thing at the concession stand. But no lie, and Jay can attest to this, by the end of our set, it was packed.
Right.
And they were enjoying themselves. So I say, yeah, put on a dope opening act, whatever the hell it is. If we're going to go out here, we're going to rock it to make sure that these dudes got the best crowd when they come out here. We ain't going to kill the hype.
But I think word got out that y'all was the first people up, so people started getting there a little
keep
earlier.
Yeah. Because they heard we were flying. They wanted to see how these dudes flying.
Absolutely.
They high. How they flying? So they was trying to make it to the shows, which was good too.
Is Wu-Tang going to go on tour for the new album?
I don't know, but I won't be there.
You're not going to be there?
Nah.
Why, Meth?
Oh, I got other obligations. I got TV shows and things I have to do now, I'm working on that producer credit.
Well, at this point in your life, what do you enjoy more, acting or rapping? I guess clearly acting.
Acting. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, hip hop is what it's turned into. I mean, just the whole entertainment business on a whole, what it's turned into. Y'all are guilty of it too. It's like I don't know what it is anymore. It's like the whole voyeuristic society. Like everybody's in everybody's business. That's why I tend to just stick to my own and mind my own damn business, man. For real.
Nah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And you kind
That's
of
what we get paid for.
You realize that also too when you start seeing people talk about you, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you see things about yourself, and you're like, I know now that's not true whatsoever. So it does give you a different approach.
Yo, I'm sensitive, man. I'm a Pisces, so I'm sensitive, And I be wanting the dresses. You can hear Ellis will tell you, man. I be calling like, yo, I need this address. I need a plane ticket here. I be ready to, but I know better. It's like those are impulsive actions. That's why I don't tweet or
you've done it before.
Instagram,
You've showed up
none
a
of
couple
that.
places before.
Yeah, I did. That was back in the day, though. You know what I mean? And I moved past all that.
I remember when you joined Twitter, you got a little irritated because you didn't know how to use it properly.
Yeah, and people was making fun of me. Yeah. It happens.
He's like, I'm off this.
It happens though.
But Hollywood ain't safe from that either, though.
Yeah, they are.
Nah,
it's a whole different animal right now, man.
I think they might be in Hollywood people business more than
There's a lot of secret things that go on in Hollywood that we have no idea about.
Because that's when you got to deal with the TMZs and the E's, and that's when they really on you.
Well, let's just put it this way. You can't escape it now. And I mean, the majority of media is tabloid. You know, tabloid.
That's
Not saying that all of it isn't true. There are facts to some of this stuff, but y'all are eviscerating people, man. That's a word, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Eviscerating.
You kill that Scrabble.
You know what it is, though? I do crossword puzzles. I just gave away my secret, right? And doing crossword puzzles keeps my pen sharp because you always got to think outside the box when you think of answers for crossword puzzles.
So how would you make the media better? Like, what do you think could make
Report
it
the news like they've been doing. Like when I was a kid, we got the news. You know, we didn't hear about, you know, Farrah Fawcett and Lee Major's problems when they were married, which I thought was a great couple. $6 million man and you know, I'm saying though, he had the finest woman in the world and he was bionic. But yeah, we probably didn't care. You know what I mean? And now it's like everybody cares a little bit too much. You can't do nothing without somebody going left. It's that same argument I had earlier about it's just cool to go against things.
I think it's always been around, but it's just more platforms for it.
It's accessible now.
You know, like back in the day, you had like 1 or 2 tabloids and then like 10 other real reputable news sources. Now everything's more tabloid than reputable news.
Yeah, I mean, some of y'all stuff is reputable.
Thank you.
Real shit. No, I'm going to keep it 100. Like I said, I applaud excellence. And some of your donkey of the days, you put those words together really good, brother.
A lot of colloquialisms.
A lot of colloquialisms. He couldn't even pronounce it.
He be eviscerating people.
You know, but I mean, especially when it's on, you know, especially when it comes to our culture. And you're speaking on people that attack our culture from our culture. You know, I feel like that's needed. We need voices like that. I don't like being asked political questions. I would rather someone like, you know, a brother Cornel West speak for me on those matters because he could be more eloquent than I can. Because for me, it's just raw emotion. For him, it's more thought out. And, you know, his history as far as our culture goes, he's on it, man. And I applaud brothers like that, man. I would rather they come into the forefront and speak for us rather than them asking a rapper what do they think of Donald Trump or what do they think of immigration and stuff like that, because our emotions are going to be raw.
Right. And we're just not as educated as them.
But sometimes people relate to that raw emotion more.
Yeah, but it's just...
It makes it more accessible for people to feel like, okay, Method Man's talking about it. And sometimes it
makes
people
realize
they should care about it.
It can be disputed because when it comes down to facts, people love facts. And they're right at your fingertips now. I like someone that can just give you the truth and it's undisputable.
I feel like some of those mainstream media outlets do that on purpose. Like, you know Cornel West is there. You know Farrakhan is there. You know Michael Eric Dyson is there. Why are you calling Lil Wayne? You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
you know what? I've seen Cornel West on CNN going against Mr. Denard, Paris.
I hate him.
Paris Denard.
I can't stand Paris
You
Denard.
Shouldn't give him that much energy. You should never hate anybody, man. Don't give away that. Don't give away your energy like that.
I
That's
dislike
bad
him.
energy. It comes back to you, too. Yeah, you could dislike him.
Yeah, and his lips are always ashy.
You know what? I don't think he's a buffoon. I think he's a very smart, intelligent black man, right? But I think he has his own agenda, and they place these people on these networks to do exactly what they do. Trolling, for lack of a better word. Right. They're trolling.
And kiss white ass. That's why Paris' lips are always ashy, because he's always kissing white ass.
I need some water, because I'm feeling dry. I smoked like 2 this morning.
Well, Meth got to get up out of here, too.
Now, I was going to ask him, what's more fickle, the rap game or Hollywood?
Both. They're about the same. You know, and I got asked a question the other day, why do I think like it's easy for some rappers to get into the acting game? And I said, well, the majority of them are liars, good liars, great liars. So it's not that hard.
All right,
the deuce. See, I got MV down pat.
I did the same
What
time.
is it, come on, Yee?
Sunday
nights.
Sunday night 9.
Sunday nights at 9, the Deuce.
Yes, and let's get Maggie Gyllenhaal at Emmy, man. I'm not playing with you, Hollywood.
No, you guys are gonna. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, but
It's
I'm
an
gonna start
excellent
watching
show.
it.
Like,
Absolutely.
Just like how The Wire started. At first, I was watching. I was like, I don't know where this is going or what's going on.
At first, and then it
It's
all
great
comes
the way
together.
that it all builds up and all the pieces start coming together.
Shout out,
Watching now
Nina.
because it's been 3 episodes?
Yeah,
4.
Okay.
So I like the binge.
Pardon me. Shout out Nina. Shout out David. Shout out George. Shout out Michelle. Yeah, everybody on the Deuce, man. Oh, shout out Pernell. That's Thunder Thighs.
Okay.
That's my bottom right there. She a good girl.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's Method Man. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Fuck out of here!